So my formula is done. What is it? Long-term debt divided by shareholders fund. It is also called shareholders equity. Capital employed, the first formula is very simple here. Total asset minus current liability. Total debt minus current liability is my long-term debt. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Vidhyaashram from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students for this 8th session of analysis of financial statement. Now we have come up with the first and the second problem of ratio analysis. Now we'll go with the next problems of ratio analysis because this chapter contains analysis of financial statement plus it also contains ratio analysis. So here we have the problem number 3 of ratio analysis. Ratios, whenever you get any questions saying that you are supposed to compute current ratio, quick ratio. Quick ratio is also called as asset test ratio. Then you will get something called debt equity ratio, debt to capital employed ratio. There are n number of problems, n number of formulas and n number of questions which they're going to ask you. I told you here very simple thing. What exactly the simple thing is? After reading the question and all, you are supposed to go with a very simple combination. That is, what is that they have asked and what is that they have given. Apart from this, you shouldn't think anything else. And this ratios is very, very simple if you know the formulas. If you don't know the formulas, this will be the toughest subject for you, a toughest chapter for you. So let's go with the first one. Compute debt equity ratio and the proprietor ratio from the following. Now they have given something. Okay. Now I'll not check what exactly they have given here, but let me know how exactly I know what exactly the formulas are. So when I go with the debt equity ratio, what exactly happens? I'll just take a solution slide here for you. Now, that is the first one they have asked. I'll write here first one, that is debt equity ratio. This is what they're asking me is equal to. Now, I know the formula of debt equity ratio. I told you about this very simple kind of a combination, that is your mushroom masala or mushroom manchuri. So we have here debt is in the first, then we have one more is equity. So we have two things here and that is what they are asking me, what exactly is the formula for it. So if there are two things, here also there should be two things. One is what? We'll go with this. Numerator and denominator combination you make. The first one is debt. I'll write here long-term debt. Which one? Long-term debt. Divided by, now this is done. Next is what? Equity. So I'll put equity here. Instead, what exactly I'll do is, I'll write here shareholders fund. Shareholders fund. It is also called as what? Equity. Equity. So this is what it is. So my formula is done. What is it? Long-term debt divided by shareholders fund. It is also called shareholders equity. Done. So I need to go with that. That is equal to. Now what will I do is I'll check the question. Now in this question, right, shareholders fund I need and then I need debt. So first one I'll go with debt here. Where exactly it will be like here? Do you have any debt here? No. Here you have, yes, you have something called the debenture, 13% debenture. How much is it? 2 lakh rupees. Apart from that, anything else? No, I don't have anything else. So I'll go back to my answers now. So I'll write here, that is long-term debt. We have something called 2 lakh rupees. Done. Now what is that I need? Shareholders fund or equity. Now let me just make this as a column here. So we can go with this rough, right, or working things. Done. Now shareholders fund, I'll write it here. Shareholders fund is equal to. What is a shareholders fund? Let's go with the problem again. We have paid up share capital, how much? 5 lakh. Apart from that, anything else is there? Now net sales, current liability, average inventory, current asset, cost of goods sold. Yes, there is nothing what you people feel. That is the reason I have taken this question here. Now, whenever we go with the share capital fund, please understand you have something called the equity here, you have profit and loss, you have Then you have something more that is called reserves and surplus. Sir, here we don't have any reserves and surplus. If you feel so, it is wrong. See here, net sales they have given is how much? 10 lakh rupees. But they also said that there is cost of goods sold is how much? 6 lakh rupees. That means there is a surplus. Here it is 10 lakh and here it is how much? 6 lakh. That means how much is the surplus? 4 lakh rupees we have a surplus. So where that should actually go? That should go to your shareholders fund. So we have something like this. Shareholders fund, it is divided like this. We have paid up share capital. That is, here we'll write share capital plus we have something called surplus. Now the surplus is from what? The profit and loss account itself. So I'll write here share capital is how much? Is equal to share capital is 5 lakh. So I'll write here 5 lakh. Done. Plus how much is the surplus here? The surplus here is 10 lakh minus 6 lakh is 4 lakh. So I'll write here 4 lakh. So you can show this in the working note itself instead of writing rough here. You can show this as working note. Working note. Okay, don't go with rough. Write working note. Extra marks you will actually get here too. So what is that thing is surplus is equal to, what is that we have done here? Surplus is equal to net sale minus cost of goods sold. Net sale minus cost of goods sold. So net sale is how much? 10 lakh. Here we have how much? 10 lakh. Minus cost of goods sold, this is how much? Here we have cost of goods sold is 6 lakh. So we'll write here 6 lakh. 6 lakh. So how much here we got? Surplus is how much? 4 lakh. So if you show each and every step, you will actually get more marks. So what is my shareholder fund? 5 lakh plus your 4 lakh is how much? Is equal to 9 lakh. I'll write here 9 lakh. So here 2 lakh divided by 9 lakh is equal to, now take your calci here. Now you have your calci. 2 lakh divided by 9 lakh is equal to 0.22. That I'll write 0.22 is to 1. So this is my debt equity ratio. So I got my 5 marks here. Now what exactly I have done? I went with the formula. The formula will be for 2 marks. Then I went with the answer here. The answer is for 1 mark. So 2 plus 1 is 3. And this is what the working note. This is for 2. So total it is how much? 5 marks. Is easily I have actually got. Next, what is that they're asking me? Debt equity ratio is done. Next they're asking me what? Proprietor ratio. Let's solve the proprietor ratio. Now here we have, we'll write here 2. Proprietor, what exactly proprietor ratio it is? So proprietor ratio is equal to, again, numerator and denominator. Proprietor, the minute you get a proprietor kind of a thing, the first thing here is shareholders. Shareholders fund. It is also what? Equity. Shareholders fund or shareholders equity, done. Divided by capital employed. What is it? Capital employed. Now if you have not watched the previous videos, please do watch. I have given an explanation and the formulas for capital employed also. So we have 2 formulas for capital employed. The first formula is very simple here. Total asset minus current liability you are supposed to go with. The second formula is called as shareholders fund plus long-term debt. So we'll go with shareholders fund. How much is it? Is equal to, now see here we have only done this. So we have only done shareholders fund is how much? Equity, that is 9 lakh rupees. So I'll write here how much? 9 lakh. 9 lakh divided by, now capital employed is there. Now we'll go for working note. I'll write here called working note. So what is this working note? Capital employed is equal to shareholder fund plus long-term debt. Now shareholders fund, how much is it? Shareholders fund, I have only written, that is 9 lakh. So here it is equal to 9 lakh plus long-term fund. How much you got? Long-term fund, long-term debenture is all how much? Long-term 2 lakh. So 2 lakh. Done. Now what is it? Is equal to 9 plus 2 is 11 lakh. So my capital employed is how much? 11 lakh rupees. So I'll write here 11 lakh is equal to. Now again take your calci. See, all zeros you can go with 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here 5, here 5. 9 divided by 11. So 9 divided by 11 is equal to 0.81. How much? 0.81 is to 1. So this is my proprietor ratio. So I'm done with my two of the things. The question has asked me proprietor ratio and the debt equity ratio. See, debt equity ratio and proprietor ratio from the following. So I've done both the things. Easy for you people. Now next, what exactly you are supposed to do is understand. We have current liabilities here, average inventory is here. See, there are relevant, irrelevant, everything is there. But what is that you are supposed to do? Very simple. Write the formulas first. What exactly they have asked? Write the formula. After getting the formula, you are supposed to find out for that particular formula what is needed and what is not needed. If you just know that what is needed, it is more than enough so that you can solve these kind of problems. So the next problem here we have is, from the following information, calculate debt equity ratio, debt to capital employed ratio, and then the last one is total asset to debt ratio. See, total asset to debt ratio. Let's go with the flow here. Now there are three things what they have asked us. So what is that I'll do is I'll not see what exactly they have given. I'll just go first. Debt equity ratio. I'll write what the first one here. That is debt equity ratio. So what is the formula? Is equal to, go with the numerator denominator combination. So debt in the sense we'll write here long term debt divided by, now we have equity. Now equity in the sense what? Shareholders fund or equity. Now shareholders fund or equity. Shareholders fund or equity. What is this long term debt? Done. Now you go to the question. Now we have, see, only three entries: total asset, current liability, total debt. What usually the students does is, the minute long-term debt is there, what they do is they'll write the entire amount. Please understand here, they have not given long-term debt. It is what? Total debt. So I'll show you the working note here. What exactly the working note would be? The working note is here. I'll just go with the working note here. Working note. Now, long-term debt is equal to, what all we have here? We have total assets, current liabilities, total debt. Total debt minus current liability is my long-term debt. What is it? Total debt is how much? 12 lakh. Current liability is 6 lakh. So here, total debt minus current liability. So here how much? Total debt is how much? Here 12 lakh. 12 lakh minus, now here current liability is 6 lakh. So I'll write here how much? 6 lakh. So total is how much here? 6 lakh. So your long-term debt is how much? 6 lakh rupees. So I'll write here 6 lakh divided by shareholders fund. Now understand, shareholders fund. Where is this shareholders fund? You have nothing here, reserve, surplus, nothing is there, only total asset, current liability, total debt. Now let me erase this for you people. Erase all. Now understand, whenever only these kind of information is given, how to find shareholders fund is very simple. Total asset minus total debt. Total asset minus total debt. That will give you what? Your shareholders fund. Now that means 15 lakh minus 12 lakh. So 15 lakh minus 12 lakh. Again here, we'll go with the next one, that is shareholders fund. Shareholders fund is equal to total asset minus total debt. Total asset is how much? Is equal to, how much is total asset? 15 lakh. So 15 lakh minus 12 lakh. 15 minus 12 is how much? 3 lakh rupees. You should write the word here, rupees. Here also, rupees. Done. So 6 lakh divided by 3 lakh. Done. Now understand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 by 3. So how much is it? 2. That is here 1 jar, here 2 jar is equal to 2:1. What is your debt equity ratio? 2:1. That is my debt equity ratio. Debt equity ratio. You got your mark. So working note, you got it. Whenever you don't get the proper information, you are supposed to analyze that. What is your long-term debt? Long-term debt is equal to total debt minus current liability. See, total how much it is, you are supposed to subtract it with the current liability. Then you will get long-term debt. Next is shareholders fund. You have only these 3 items here, right? So what are the 3 items here? Total asset, current liability, total debt. So what is your shareholders thing is total asset minus total debt. That will be going to the shareholders fund. So let's go with the first one is done. Now we are supposed to go with the second one, debt to capital employed ratio. Debt to capital employed ratio. Now second one, debt to capital employed ratio. Debt to capital employed ratio is equal to. Now how to remember the formula? I told you, right? Mushroom, Manchuri, same. Debt in the sense, go with numerator, denominator. Long term debt divided by, next is Manchuri. What is this called as? We call this as capital employed. So here we will write capital employed. Capital employed. Done. So this is what we are supposed to understand. See, long-term debt, capital employed, if you go with this, that is what the answer is. Now we have here, do you have anywhere long-term debt? Do you have anywhere capital employed? No. So how is that we'll go with this? Very simple. Long-term debt here only we have. So we'll write long-term debt. How much is it? Is equal to, long-term debt is 6 lakh rupees. So we'll write here 6 lakh. 6 lakhs is done. Now capital employed. What exactly the capital employed formula is? Capital employed is equal to shareholder fund plus long-term debt. Long-term debt. So shareholder fund, how much is it? Shareholder fund, we have only got 3 lakh. So we'll write here is equal to 3 lakh plus long-term debt is how much? 6 lakh. So is equal to 9 lakh. See, I don't need the question paper itself now, right? So 9 lakh. I'll write here how much? 9 lakh. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 2s are 3 3s are. So how much is it? So you go with this. Take a calci now. What is that you will do? 6 divided by 9 is equal to 0.66. So how much is it? 0.66 is to 1. 0.66 is to 1. That is my debt to capital employed ratio. Done. This is how you people will arrive with the answer. So let's go with the next one. The next one, what exactly the question they are asking is, now all these two is done. Now total asset to debt ratio. Total asset to debt ratio. We'll go with this. This is the third one. Total asset to debt ratio is equal to. See, this is a very new formula for you. You people don't know what exactly the formula is, but through the way of mushroom manchuri, you can actually go with this. Let's go with this. See, here we have something called total asset. Here we have debt ratio. So let's go with the formula here. So total asset, again, numerator, denominator. Total asset means here numerator, total asset. Long-term debt. Long-term debt. So what is our total asset here is equal to, just go with the question here. The question says something total asset, where exactly you get total asset. Now total asset, yeah, total asset. Total asset is how much? 15 lakh. So we'll go with 15 lakh here. So 15 lakh divided by long-term debt. Here only we have gone long-term debt. How much is it? 6 lakh is what we have, the long-term debt. So we'll write here how much? 6 lakh. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again 1, 1. So 15 by 6. Take your calci. 15 divided by 6 is equal to 2.5. So it is how much? Is equal to 2.5 is to 1. This is my total asset to debt ratio. Supposingly, if they ask in the problem, saying that, let's go with this one more, that is 4 is what I'll write here. The same thing, total asset to total debt ratio. Debt ratio is equal to, see what is the difference here is, they have asked here total asset to debt ratio, but here they have asked total asset to total debt ratio. What will be the formula? Same, MYSURU Manchuri is what you are supposed to go with. Total asset divided by now total debt. So total asset is how much? 15 lakh is equal to 15 lakh divided by now total debt. They have only given in the question, if you just remember the question here, they have total debt, they have given us how much? 12 lakh. So we'll write here 12 lakh. How much? 12 lakh. So what exactly it happens is, we'll take the calci now. 15 lakh divided by 12 lakh is equal to 1.25. So what is it? Is equal to 1.25 is to 1. So if it is the C, the formulas are very, very simple to remember. This is what the Abhilash Chandra tricks are. That is, I don't need to remember the formula, because if I remember the formula, it is a possibility that we forget the formula. Before that, let's go with understanding the formula. Any doubt regarding this session, please do call us. And in the next session, I'm going to teach you something which is the university problems, a very big problem where you have 3-4 things which you are supposed to calculate. I'll explain it to you. Very simple it is. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.